Hello, I'm Mike McPhaden, President of the American Geophysical Union. I joined AGU in 1979 as a student, as a graduate student, because I'd heard about this great meeting in San Francisco. And I wanted to present my work on a grand stage, and I also wanted to meet colleagues who I only knew through the printed page. And I saw the fall AGU meeting as a great opportunity for networking. I spent 2 years as President-elect of Ocean Sciences and 2 years as President of Ocean Sciences. And then I was no longer part of the AGU leadership team. A few years later, I got another phone call. And I was asked if I would run for President of AGU. And I was aghast, because that's such an important position. And I wondered whether I could really do this. And so what I told the former president, who was the chair of the nominations committee, here are some really good qualified people that you want to run. I'm not sure I'm the right person. And there was a pause on the other end of the line, and he said, no, we want you to run. As president-elect of AGU, it was my responsibility to develop a new strategic plan. And that plan has 4 major themes: organizational excellence, scientific leadership and collaboration, science and society, and developing the next generation talent pool. These are all very important themes, and they're all ones that we need to devote a lot of time and effort to. The theme I thought was the most ripe for making significant progress was science and society. There was a pent-up demand in AGU for being a more proactive organization in engaging with policymakers and the public on these big questions that affect society, big questions that have Earth and space science at their heart. And so this was the agenda I set out for myself, to make progress on this particular issue. I took office as president-elect at a time when the organization was on the brink of significant change. We had a new strategic plan to develop. We had the idea of a new governance structure that would help us organize our science better and promote our science better. And we also hired a new executive director. These were 3 major changes in a very short period of time. The challenge for me, as I saw it, was to deliver on the promise to our membership that these changes would really make a difference in member satisfaction with the services and the products that we deliver. So how well have we done? Well, we've made some big decisions. One of which was to partner with Wiley-Blackwell for publications. This will provide financial stability to the union. It will also allow for a much greater user satisfaction with a publications process, both editors, authors, and reviewers. We've also initiated a science policy conference in Washington, D.C. that allows us to be more proactive in engaging with policymakers and the public on problems that face society which have their roots in Earth and space science. And we've also established a Climate Communications Prize to raise the visibility of climate change as an urgent problem facing society. If I were to pick 3 things that I'm particularly proud of during my presidency, I would say partnering with Wiley-Blackwell for publications is one of those. It's not only about the partnership, but it's the process by which we arrived at the decision, which was inclusive of all stakeholders, the board obviously, but the council, the general membership, editors, and others who had a stake in AGU publications. The second thing that I'm particularly proud of is the progress we've made in the Science and Society Strategic Plan theme. There are a number of different things that we've done to advance this. Our policy conference in Washington, D.C., we inaugurated this year. The new Climate Communications Prize. And we're taking a much more proactive role in letters to editors, press releases, and other communications to the general public and policymakers about some of the urgent problems we face as a society and how Earth and space science can help us address those. And a third thing that I'm particularly proud of is the establishment of our ethics task force, whose work is almost completed. They were charged with updating our code of conduct for members, which was originally established in the 1990s, quite a long time ago, and the world has changed quite a bit. Our ability to achieve our goals as scientists requires that we act with the highest of ethical standards, because what we do and our ability to make our science meaningful to broader public depends on having the trust of the public. And for that, we have to understand what it is that we have to do as scientists to maintain that trust. And that's where ethics comes into play. And that's where our new ethics task force is going to produce this document about a code of conduct that can be used by all of our members to make them aware of their responsibilities to themselves and their science. It is our goal in AGU to make our organization the authoritative voice for Earth and space science. In 10 years' time, I could envision that AGU will become a household name, like the American Cancer Society or the American Medical Association. Everybody knows these organizations. I'd like to see in 10 years' time, when you hear the words AGU, you know that this is the authoritative voice for Earth and space science. AGU is a great organization because of its members. In fact, AGU is its members. These are passionate scientists. We have 61,000 of them. They represent 148 countries. They are all motivated to make a difference in the world. And it's this energy that drives our organization. As volunteer leaders and as staff, we try to harness that and channel it for the most productive uses. But what makes AGU great is its members.